Hi, I'm Andy Teach, host of Andy's Awesome Adventures, and welcome to the Grand Palace in Bangkok, Thailand. The Grand Palace in Bangkok is one of the most beautiful palace complexes I've ever seen, and I've seen many around the world. The palace is surrounded by walls on all four sides and is comprised of several buildings, many of which are not open to the public. The palace complex covers over 2.5 million square feet. The palace has been the official residence of the kings of Siam and later Thailand since 1782, when King Rama I moved the capital from Thonburi to Bangkok. The king, his court, and his royal government were based on the grounds of the palace until 1925. Throughout successive reigns, many new buildings and structures were added, especially during the reign of King Rama V. By 1925, the king, the royal family, and the government were no longer permanently settled at the palace and had moved to other residences. After the abolition of absolute monarchy in 1932, all government agencies completely moved out of the palace. Today, the Grand Palace is still used for official events. Several royal ceremonies and state functions are held within the walls of the palace every year. The palace is one of the most popular tourist attractions in Thailand, with over 8 million people visiting each year. The Grand Palace is divided into two main zones: the Temple of the Emerald Buddha and the royal residences, which are divided into three main areas: the outer court, which includes royal offices and the Temple of the Emerald Buddha; the middle court, home to the most important royal apartments and ceremonial throne halls; and the inner court, which is reserved for the reigning king, his queen, and his consorts. The Grand Palace is currently partially open to the public as a museum, but it remains a working palace, with several royal offices still situated inside. The first thing we saw at the palace were the Phra Asada Maha Chedi, or 8 Prang towers. Rama I had 8 Prang towers constructed on the east of the temple to function as a Chedi monument worthy of great respect. Each of the plaster brick Chedi are decorated with stucco motifs and glazed tiles of a different color, each representing and dedicated to one of 8 Buddhist concepts. Perhaps the most important and most sacred building in the Grand Palace complex is the Temple of the Emerald Buddha, or Wat Phra Kaew. It's a royal chapel situated within the walls of the palace, and it has all the features of a temple except for living quarters for monks. The famed Emerald Buddha is kept within the grounds of this temple. Construction of the Ubisat, or Ordination Hall, began during the reign of Rama I in 1783. The exterior of the building is covered entirely in gilding and glass mosaic in a floral motif called kanak, which was used during the Ayutthaya period from 1351 to 1767. As such, the building is one of the oldest structures within the temple. The Ubisat was built to house the Buddha image, known as the Emerald Buddha, which the king had captured from Laos in 1779. Previously, the image was housed in the Emerald Buddha Hall in the Wat Arun complex on the other side of the Chao Phraya River. The Emerald Buddha was ceremonially installed at its present position in the temple in 1785. In 1831, Rama III ordered a major renovation of the exterior of the Ubisat. The Buddha is just over 26 inches or 66 centimeters tall. The name Emerald Buddha comes from the color of the Buddha. It's most likely made from jadeite, not from emeralds. Only the King of Thailand is allowed to touch it. The twin gold Chedi are a pair of gilt copper Chedi covered in gold leaf, which stand not far from the Temple of the Emerald Buddha, and were constructed by Rama I, with the Chedi on the south dedicated to his father, and the Chedi to the north dedicated to his mother. Bright demon-like figures support the base of the two Chedi. The Ramakien gallery in the Cloisters features 178 wall panels painted with murals, depicting scenes from Ramakien, the Thai version of the Indian epic Ramayana. This is the Ramakien story as composed by Rama I and follows Prince Rama's quest to rescue his beloved wife Sita from the clutches of Thatsakan, the 10-headed demon king who has 20 arms. The episodes are painted in a clockwise progression, depicting scenes of gods and humans, monkeys and demons, and life inside and outside the palace and cities. Four-legged animals, birds, and mythical animals of the Himavantsa forest abound in the jungles, plains, and oceans. Phra Rattana Chedi is a bell-shaped chedi or stupa of brick and mortar that was constructed in 1855 during the reign of Rama IV to house relics of the Buddha. It was originally whitewashed, but was later covered with gold mosaic tiles imported from Italy during the reign of Rama V in time to mark the 100th birthday of Bangkok in 1882. Gold mosaic tiles were again imported in 1982 to retile damaged parts of the chedi as part of the major renovation of the temple for the 200th birthday of Bangkok during the reign of Rama IX. There were 6 pairs of statues of Asura, or giants, who were placed as guardians with their backs to the gates inside the temple compound, facing the temple of the Emerald Buddha to show deference to the Emerald Buddha. Built in the reign of Rama III, they represent characters from the Thai Ramakien. This Angkor Wat model is a replica in concrete of the 12th century Angkor Wat in Cambodia as conceived by Rama IV. He had this model created instead of moving an actual stone Khmer temple to the Grand Palace. Completed in the reign of Rama V, it stands as a handcrafted miniature of a renowned architectural marvel. The royal Pantheon was constructed in the reign of Rama IV with the intention of using it for royal ceremonies. It was also supposed to enshrine the Emerald Buddha, but when completed, it was deemed that the building was too small. An electrical fire destroyed the roof structure in 1903, requiring extensive repairs that continued into the reign of Rama VI. Presently, life-size bronze statues of the former sovereigns of the royal house are found inside, in order that the royal family can pay their respects at appropriate times. The royal Pantheon is also open once a year to the general public. Geometric patterns of colored glass mosaics decorate its exterior walls, and pillars are interspersed with ceramic tiles. The Phra Vihara Yad Chapel, also known as the Meeting Room, was constructed by Rama III to replace a Rama I building from Buddha images cast from the remains of a bronze Buddha. The building is decorated with porcelain dishes and plates imported from China, or pieces that were broken during transport and fashioned into floral and geometric pattern mosaics. Plaster covered with porcelain also replaced traditional wood structures and decorates the Thai crown prong that rises from the roof. Everywhere you look, you take pictures. It's like beautiful. So the Thai people must be very proud of the royal palace.
Yes.
Gorgeous.
So, this one. I told my tourists, do not touch.
You break it.
Or else bleeding.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Very sharp.
That's glass. Yeah.
This much.
One of the highlights of many palaces is seeing the changing of the guard. I didn't even know there was one here, but I was excited to see it. The building in the background on the left was built by British architects as a royal residence for King Rama IV to commemorate the centennial of the Chakri dynasty. It has reception rooms, a dining hall, and a throne hall. The building is in the neoclassical style, with a roof surmounted by 3 Thai-style spires. The foundation stone was laid by Rama V in 1876, and the main building was completed in 1882 in time for the 100th anniversary of the founding of Bangkok. The ground floor has rooms which are used as offices and for the king's own bodyguards. The upper floor has picture galleries and a private audience, while the throne hall features a dining room and a reception room. The top floor is reserved for the ashes and small urns of Rama IV through Rama IX. The urns of some of their families are here as well. The Dusit Maha Prasad throne hall is enclosed by walls as it is part of the residential complex built by Rama I. This brick-plastered throne hall with a spired roof replaced another throne hall that was built in wood and was destroyed in a fire that was caused by a lightning strike in 1789. This throne hall became a building for the lying in state of kings, queens, and senior members of the royal family, or for the holding of royal ceremonies. On the way out, we saw the Temple of the Emerald Buddha Museum, but didn't have time to go in. The building originally housed the Royal Mint, but when the new mint was built in 1902, it was converted into a Royal Guard barracks. In 1982, it was converted into a museum, which houses artifacts from both the Grand Palace and the Temple of the Emerald Buddha, including architectural models and Buddha images. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tour of the Grand Palace. If you are coming to Bangkok, this should be number 1 on your list of things to see and do.